Welcome back to my channel. If you saw the little montage with the map and the pins in the beginning, those were all the schools that I made it into. And so yeah, this is the video where I'm going to tell you guys where I'm doing my next 4 years, and so I'm really excited about that. If you guys are new to my channel, my name is Elden, and then I'd also love for you guys to go ahead and hit the subscribe and like button. Before we get into where I'm going and the schools that got cut off my list, I'm going to tell you guys a few things that were important to me in deciding where I go for the next 4 years. So number one, I wanted a school that was very diverse, and so this was important to me because college is where you get to meet so many different people, and so I'd get the chance to interact with people from different backgrounds and different cultures. So yeah. And then number two, I also wanted a school that was either in a really big city or close to a big city. And then that leads into like my number three reason, because I wanted a school that had good research or internship opportunities. And then my last one that was very important to me was a school with good programs that let you study away or study abroad in different countries. Another thing that happened before the May 1st deadline to decide where I was going to college is I actually got into UC Santa Barbara on April 15th, I believe. So yeah, that was another thing to add into my whole decision process. And if you have not seen my decision video, I will link it up above for you guys. So let's go ahead and get to the video. So behind me, I have the map of where all I was accepted and waitlisted. And so let's go ahead and start. I started off with 2 schools. So I'm taking off Tulane and Rice. I took Tulane and Rice off because I was waitlisted and I still haven't heard a decision back from them. So yeah, that's why I'm taking them off. Next school that I decided to take off was Oxford College of Emory University. So I took off Oxford because I would have rather gone to Emory University instead of for 4 years instead of going to Oxford College for 2 years and then transitioning into Emory University. So yeah, that one was a pretty simple one to take off. My next one that I took off was Case Western. So Case Western is a really good research institution in Cleveland, Ohio, but that's the reason I took it off, because it was in Cleveland, Ohio. It's a pretty big city, but I would have rather gone to one of the other big cities that are up here on the board. And yeah, but that's basically why I took it off, and they also didn't give me enough money, so that's why. The next school that I took off was Baylor. So I took off Baylor because it's in Waco, Texas, and if I go to a Texas school, I'd rather go to a larger city like Austin, Dallas, or Houston. So yeah, and they gave me pretty good financial aid. It's a really good school, but ultimately I just took it off for that reason. The next school I'm taking off is Fordham University. I'm taking off Fordham because it's a smaller university in the Bronx, and if I go to New York, I'd rather go to New York University because it's a bigger school and it has more resources. Plus, Fordham didn't give me as much financial aid compared to NYU, so for that reason, it's out. The next school I took off was the University of Tulsa. So I took off the University of Tulsa because it's a really tiny university, actually. It's about the size of my high school. And if I go to a school in Oklahoma, I'd rather go to the University of Oklahoma, which is much larger. It's a very good institution, so is Tulsa, but I'd rather go to OU. Plus, Tulsa is pretty expensive since it is a private school. So yeah, for that reason, it's out. The next school that I took off was Southern Methodist University. So I took off SMU because it's really close to home. It's in Dallas, Texas, and I didn't really want to live in Texas, even though Dallas would give me so many great opportunities. But yeah, I would rather go to the University of Oklahoma for 4 years, save some money, and then go to another institution, because SMU is really expensive as well. Money does play a very large role in this whole process for me. So yeah. So the next school I decided to take off was the University of Oklahoma. So I did decide to take off my state school because ever since I was little, I never imagined myself staying in Oklahoma. I always told my parents that I would go to Oxford University in London. Yeah, pretty funny. But yeah, so I took it off. And I will miss out on the opportunity to be in PLC, but that's okay. It's a great thing, but I'm taking it off. Alright, the next school that I decided to take off was UC Santa Barbara. I took off UC Santa Barbara because they came in a little late and I had already gone into UC San Diego, and I preferred to go to UC San Diego, and I talked to my friends about the atmosphere there, and I just preferred it more. It seemed like I would fit in there. But yeah, so that's why I took it off. They're also really expensive. They didn't give me any aid, but I kind of expected it because I'm out-of-state student. So yeah. The next school that I'm taking off is Northeastern. So I took Northeastern off because I compared it to Boston University, which is what I did with like a lot of these schools if they're in the same city or state. And so they were a lot more expensive. They didn't give me as much aid as Boston University. I also liked the virtual tour, I guess, of Boston University a lot more. I just seemed like I would fit in there more. And so yeah, that's why I took it off. I will be missing out on the honors college, but that's okay. Okay, so this leaves me with my top 6. And so I have the University of Washington, Seattle, Pepperdine, UC San Diego, Emory University, Boston University, and NYU. And so I was really stuck between these 6, which is kind of weird. I know top 6 is like kind of awkward, but they all kind of fit my criteria except for like the diversity part for Pepperdine. But they're all really great schools, great institutions to go to. That's basically why. So it was a really hard decision, but I knew they'd be in my top 6 from like April 1st because I crossed all the other schools off really quick and have decided on these for like the past couple weeks. So yeah, it was tough. I actually bought shirts for all 6 schools because I did not know where I was going to go for my next 4 years. So yeah. So the first school I took off my top 6 was actually UC San Diego. And so I took UC San Diego off because, well, it's a very nice campus, good institution for like research because they're medical school. I just couldn't afford it. They didn't give me any aid either, which is expected because I'm out of state student, and UCs are known for not giving any money to out of state students. So yeah, kind of sad, but it's okay. The next school that I actually decided to take off was Boston University. And so the reason I took off BU is because if I was going to live in the Northeast for my next 4 years, I would rather live in New York City. And NYU also gave me more money, and they'd give me the opportunities that I was looking for. And so yeah, sadly I took off Boston for that reason. The next school I took off was University of Washington, Seattle. UW is a great school for what I would want to major in and everything, but it ended up being way too expensive. Even though UW did not give me enough money, they stayed on the list for a pretty long time because I do have an aunt that lives in Seattle, plus I'd be able to apply for in-state tuition a little later, but I decided to take it off the list because that's a lot of money still to pay, even though I could eventually apply for in-state. Yeah, it's a great institution. It's a really great institution for my major specifically, and it has all of the research opportunities, but yeah, sadly I had to take it off. The next school that I decided to take off was Emory University. So I took Emory off because while it was in Atlanta, I preferred the bigger city of New York City, or even though Pepperdine is not in a big city, it is close to Los Angeles. So I took it off for pretty much that reason. They gave me really good financial aid, but I did have to take it off. And then that's basically it. So we're down to my final 2. So I was actually very torn between these 2 because Pepperdine was my last acceptance before my winter break and leading into my second semester of senior year. So I had thought I was going to Pepperdine for sure because I applied to all these other tough institutions to get into. I did not think I'd had the chance to get into them, but luckily I did have the chance, and so it made the decision a little harder. But yeah, I did that, and NYU was the last school I got accepted into, so I was very excited about that as well. Another pro that Pepperdine had over NYU is that they gave me more money than all of the other schools, and then I actually got to tour Pepperdine before this whole coronavirus thing started, and so yeah, that was a good thing. And then that's basically it. But the things I liked about both of them is that they're both well known for their study abroad programs. They're both ranked nationally. Like Pepperdine has, I believe, 7 locations, and some of them are homestays, which I think is really cool. And then New York University has locations all over the world. They're crazy as well. So they both would give me great opportunities for that. And then research-wise, they both do pretty good. Like, obviously Malibu is pretty far from Los Angeles. It's about an hour drive, but I would still possibly get the opportunity to intern in Los Angeles, so that's why I kept it up there. And then NYU is in Manhattan, so they've got great hospitals and other research institutions within that New York City area, where Pepperdine did lack. They lacked in diversity since they are predominantly white, and then, but it kind of made up for the community that I would get there, and then the Christian aspect that they, you know, are based upon. Okay, so I'm done talking about why these are my top 2, so I will reveal where I am going now. Alright guys, so I'm back with my decision. I just finished my little photo shoot for the gram, which you should follow down in the link below. But next year I will be going to NYU in Madrid. So yeah, hopefully I'll be going to Madrid, and yeah, I can just continue making like vlogs for you guys or anything else. Bye.